so now we're moving on to the final part of this evaluation, and we're going to talk about turning radius, because I know that is a very important factor for a lot of folks. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to line up the truck so the dually tires are lined up with this white line right here, both trucks. And then we're simply going to flip them around as hard over as we can to see how much space they take to do a U-turn. Once we do that to both trucks, we'll have a good idea of which one dominates turning radius in a 350 and a 3500 HD package. All right, guys, so we have both trucks positioned exactly the same. Let me kind of walk up so you can see. Here is the Ford, and then here's the GMC. I mean, they might be off by less than an inch, but they are positioned pretty much identically. Now, what's going to happen here? Brian's going to hop into the Ford first. He's going to pull forward about 3 feet and then pull it hard to the left. And we're going to do a full U-turn to see just where it stops. Then we're going to do the exact same thing to the GMC truck. And the minute the truck is straightened back out after the U-turn, we'll stop. All right, go ahead and hop into the Ford. So pull forward 3 feet. Cut hard. This is going to be interesting for me because I have not compared these two in terms of actual turning radius. Keep going. Straighten out and stop. Okay, let's take a measurement. And a little further over, go out to right there.
Right here?
Yeah. Okay, so we just measured where the tire on the F350 is to where we positioned it originally. We're at 37 feet from the inside of the tire to the inside of the tire where it stopped right there. All right, sorry for interrupting the video, but I am now here at Lowe's. This is actually the next day. After doing all the tests yesterday, coming back and editing the video and starting to work with it, I realized something. The first test that we did with the GMC that you guys haven't seen, it showed this truck having a turning circle that was roughly 5 feet wider than that of the F350 dually that you just saw. And to me, that was like, wow, that was a big moment. I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy that this GMC has such a wider turning circle than the F350. I actually thought it was going to be slightly better. Well, it turns out that we did the test again with this truck against my F450 about 30 minutes later. And this truck was able to turn significantly tighter than it did during the first test after we had already returned the F350 dually that we were testing. So when I'm putting all this video together and I'm seeing where this truck ended up the second time we did the test, it was much, much narrower than the first time. And I knew that there was a discrepancy in how it was being turned, that there was some issue with how we executed the roundabout with this specific truck, and I didn't want to post something that was so inaccurate. So I decided to run to Lowe's today, grab one of those rolling tape measures as well as a couple of cones so we could retest this truck as well as my F450 and take some better measurements. Anyways, we don't need to retest the F350 dually. We had 37 feet from tire to tire on that truck. We'll do the same test with this truck and my F450 and hopefully be able to get better results this time. All right, now I got a rolling tape measure and I have some cones. This should make my life a little easier. All right, guys, so we are back out here. We have the Denali and we have my F450. And to give the Denali the best possible chance of showing what it can do in this turning radius test, we wanted to make sure that we tested it properly. The first test, Brian was being cautious with the power steering pump. He didn't want to pin it over too far for too long because, of course, it puts stress on the power steering pump. But for this test, we're going to have this one locked over to the left and we're going to see just how tight the Denali can turn. Remember, the F350 dually had a 37-foot inner tire to inner tire measurement. We actually have some measuring tools out here today that can help us take that measurement a little bit easier than we had to yesterday. But we're going to hop in the Denali and see what it's capable of. Okay, so we have the GMC maneuvered around. I'm going to go ahead and measure from here all the way to that cone up there, which is equal distance to where it started. So we are at 39 feet 10 inches. So 39 feet 10 inches, and that's from the front tire where it started to where it's at over there right now. Now we're going to take the F450, do the same thing. Okay, so the F450 is positioned now. You can see it's significantly tighter than the DENALI and the F350. All right, so we're going to take a measurement from the front tire right here all the way over to that cone. (29 feet 7 inches). So that's pretty significant.
Pretty significant.
So we're going to measure one more time on the DENALI, 29 feet 7 inches on the Ford. We are at 39 feet 4 inches on the GMC. And just because we measured the DENALI twice, we're going to measure the Ford twice. Let me zero this out. (29 feet 7 inches). So that's pretty much a 10-foot difference between the two. That's pretty crazy. And if you want to ever figure out why, it's that wide track front axle. The wide track front axle spaces the hubs out an additional 3 inches off each side, and it simply gives them the ability to adjust the steering stop so the tires can turn in at a much greater angle without making contact to the frame. That is a very, very good upgrade to have on a truck, and I think really all these heavy-duty trucks should have some version of that because, you know, the need to pull, the need to tow, and the need to have great maneuverability is important. And I think that it all makes sense just to have trucks configured with the best possible maneuverability that you can get. Big semi trucks, things like that, they have very good maneuverability because they have the ability for the tires to turn in so sharply, and that helps you in all sorts of situations. Backing up, steering, maneuvering, especially if you're in RV parks or if you're going into a truck stop. And I think that's really important. All right, so a quick recap of the three trucks. The 2020 F350 DUALLY had a 37-foot tire-to-tire measurement. The 2020 GMC DENALI was at 39 feet 4 inches. And my 2017 F450 was at 29 feet 7 inches. So that really shows you the benefit of having a wide track front axle and what it's capable of doing for maneuverability with these trucks. It's not saying that any of the trucks have incredibly poor maneuverability, but it does show you the significantly improved maneuverability of the F450 truck. And just coming around to this angle, I think you can see what I'm talking about. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't get a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.